Hi, I'm Catherine Black, and my presentation is about why Venezuela has one of the worst economies in the world. For my project, I read an article by CNN Business that discusses 4 reasons why Venezuela's economy failed, and I'm going to discuss which one I think is the most important. The first reason is the economic crisis. Venezuela has been in a recession since 2014, and in 2016, the economy entered hyperinflation. The second reason is falling oil prices and Venezuela's almost absolute dependency on oil for revenue. Oil makes up 95% of Venezuela's exports. In late 2014, oil prices collapsed, which pretty much destroyed Venezuela's economy because it depends so heavily on oil. The third reason is high prices for food and broken hospitals. The government continued implementing price controls on food and medicine until 2016, so supply fell because selling food and medicine would result in major losses. So that government intervention made supply and demand less efficient. Now the government has stopped enforcing the price controls, but prices are so high that people are starving and eating garbage to survive. The fourth reason has to do with Venezuela's increasing debt. It's estimated that Venezuela's national debt reached $156 billion in 2008, and this will continue to skyrocket as their oil exports decrease. I think this is an important economic topic because not only will it provide a good starting place for Venezuela to start thinking about what it can do to recover, but it can also help other countries know what happens when governments depend too heavily on one industry and then mismanage that. I determined that the biggest cause of Venezuela's failing economy is the government mismanagement of oil. That and a combination of Chavez's unsustainable social programs led to the economic crisis, which then led to extremely high food and medicine prices and increasing debt. Venezuela, under the leadership of Carlos Andrés Perez, nationalized oil production in the 1970s. The government's company, PDVSA, had a monopoly in Venezuela's oil industry, and there was a lot of corruption, so not much revenue was invested in improving oil production. Chavez took office in 1999 and reformed PDVSA, and Venezuela's economy boomed in the early 2000s. As a result, Venezuelan currency shot up in value. However, this hurt industries because it became way cheaper to import foreign goods, and the government did nothing to try to diversify the economy. Meanwhile, the government didn't handle its newfound wealth responsibly and invested in extravagant social programs that were good for the average citizen, but it was unsustainable, and in the long run, the benefits did not outweigh the cost, and Venezuela went into debt. To make the situation worse, oil prices started to collapse in late 2014, which severely decreased the country's revenue because it was almost entirely dependent on oil. To try to offset the increasing debt, President Maduro printed more money, which led to hyperinflation. It's hard to pin the blame on just one of the reasons CNN listed because I think it really came down to a series of poor decisions made by the government that led to market failures. Another limitation is that under the presidency of Maduro, Venezuela has stopped releasing statistics about its economy to try to cover up the crisis, so a lot of the data I looked at were estimates. In addition, I tried to focus mostly on the core economic issues for my presentation, but there's a lot of civil and political unrest that could factor into the state of the economy. Thank you for watching my presentation. Here are the sources I used.